later.
I don't know. I kind of think I'd want to watch. Like,
You'd
I'd
want
be
to
like,
watch and get a happy ending?
Wouldn't that be something?
I'd be bored. I'd be like, what am I doing? What is the point of me being here? What am I getting out of this?
You're right.
It's none of our business. 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 It's none of our business.
Welcome, everybody, to the It's Really None of Our Business podcast with Monica and Amanda.
This is a show where we open a cheap bottle of wine and we just attempt to solve the problems of the world.
And today's biggest problem?
Today's biggest problem. Well, it's not really a problem. I want to talk to you about, actually it kind of is, depending
Depending on how you look at it.
When you get a massage, do you like to talk to the person or do you like to relax?
I like to talk. I'm a talker.
Okay.
Yeah, what about you?
It depends, but just who I am as a person, I usually end up talking.
Yeah.
And like I've had some of the most like uncomfortable, awkward massages, and it made me think because just the other day I had a massage. My back is super messed up, so he was working on like my back, and we started talking about, COVID and everything, and we ended up talking the entire time. Like it was like you're talking to your friend, and it was fine. I didn't mind it. But then I came back a week later and I went to the same guy because he knew what he had to keep working on my body. And that time I just wasn't really in the mood to talk about COVID or talk about anything. So I just kind of like stopped responding to his conversations. And all I could think is like, I wonder if he feels like I don't like him or something now.
Well, don't you think, though, that the part of the massage is like sometimes you're right. And I think it's this must be this uncomfortableness that you just want to talk to, fill the space, but at the same time, when things feel good, the last thing I want to do is talk to you. Like I just want to sit there and close my eyes for a minute. So just shut up and let me have my peace.
I know, like, because I've told my friends this in the past, and I'm like, I always end up talking to them, and they're like, just stop responding and just lay there. But a lot of the time, I actually don't mind it. There was one time I literally felt like I was on a date with this guy, though. Like, it was so weird. It felt like a date. Like, it wasn't just like having a conversation, because that's different. But he was like asking me about my hobbies. Like, it really felt like, I'm like, oh my God, so I kept trying to like drop that I had a husband, but he left his business card in the room after for a company that he had outside of this because he wanted me to reach out to him and all this stuff. And I'm like,
oh my.
I'm literally on a date with you right now.
So did you feel like, okay, so how was that particular massage? Was it like, have you ever had a massage where you feel like, oh, like, are you crossing the line? Like the way they touch you?
I not really, but like because sometimes you can like put it in your head that that's happening, even though it might not be, right? Like, do you ever?
I do, but then I think if I'm thinking that, then it probably is.
Yeah. Honestly, I've had it though, where it's gone bad because they're too busy talking. So that same guy who I felt like I was on a date with, the place that I go for massages is like just a big chain.
Yeah.
And you can book in with like multiple different people. The reason I go there is because no matter,
it's cheap.
Well, it's not even, it's $100.
Okay.
But it's just very convenient. You can go at 8 p.m. at night. There's always appointments available. You can usually book somebody you've already had before. You can you can look when that certain massage therapist is. Anyways, there was one time I had the date guy and I was like, oh, I don't think I ever want to go to him again because it wasn't really that good. And like, it felt kind of like it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
And then I really needed a massage. I booked in with just whoever and I didn't look at the name. I forgot that like a year previous. So I get in there and I'm like, oh, this fucking guy again. So I'm in there and I'm like getting a massage by him. And of course we're talking. And this time it didn't really feel like a date so much, but I was telling him some story about, I don't even know what it was, but we started giggling. Do you ever get the giggles with your friend?
Yeah.
Like, because
you can't stop.
I said something like it must have been funny because I'm so freaking funny.
Yeah,
but
you are.
We both got the giggles to the point like he could not massage me anymore because it was like I had already flipped over. I'm on my back and he's like doing my shoulders and stuff. And at like so many points, he was just standing there like just with his hands because he was like too busy laughing. And then like we'd finally both stop laughing and then I'd like think about it again and So then he'd start, and I'm like, literally, it's like hanging out with my friend. I'm not even getting a massage right
Well, it's
now.
kind of like the best massage ever. Then you get all those happy endorphins and
Getting the giggles is one of my favorite things in the whole world. So then the other day when I had this massage with this guy and I decided, okay, I'm just going to lay here because I'm not really in the mood to talk. It was good. And I flip over and he starts like massaging my head. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. You
Yeah.
know, it feels so good. But then he starts like tapping my head, like just like aggressively tapping. And it didn't hurt. It wasn't
you're
annoying.
just like, what the fuck are you doing?
I could feel the giggles starting because I was like, I can't wait to tell Monica about this. So as it's happening, I'm going,
Yeah.
oh my God, don't laugh. And I'm like, and like the giggles were like starting. And then I started remembering about the time I had the giggles and I like was so, and I'm sure he could see me like smirking. So as he's like tapping on my head.
Did he say I'm doing this because
No, he just was tapping away.
it's like wasting time? Why are you wasting my massage time tapping on my head?
So funny. Like, have you ever had a Thai massage
Yeah.
where they climb on your back?
Well, I've had a Thai massage in Thailand, but I've seen them and they climb on your back and they twist you around.
Yeah.
I didn't want that one. I
Yeah.
just want that, like, can you just like rub my back and it'll be, that's the kind that I've had. But I have had a massage where it was the same thing, like one of those places that you just go and there's like a anytime, and like
Yeah.
it's probably the same company that we're
Yeah.
talking about. And this guy was massaging me, and he started massaging me. He's a rather attractive guy, and he started like massaging my butt, which
Okay.
is fine.
Yeah.
And I even had to like put a disclaimer, like, okay, to
Yeah.
massage your butt.
They
And I'm
make
like,
you sign that now
I'm
because.
like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he started massaging inside my legs.
Oh, did you feel the tingle?
Well, I was kind of like, where's this going? Do you know what I mean? And then the thought in my head was, how far will I let this go?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, am I being?
Am I
Are
being
you? But you know, it just kind of went that. It kind of
Yeah.
like butt inside of
Yeah.
your legs, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But it, you know, didn't go any further than
Yeah,
that. But
yeah,
from
yeah.
what I hear, because my sister's a massage therapist, that is inappropriate. Like
Yeah,
you're not
interest-
supposed to massage like inside your
But
legs.
sometimes there's certain like muscle, like if they're doing it like, you know, for a
But
certain
on
reason.
You're
yeah.
on your stomach.
Yeah.
You're on your stomach.
There's
and
no
so
reason.
And so butt.
Yeah.
And then
That's like, there's one reason for that movement.
there's only one reason
Yeah.
for that movement.
That's.
Okay, and so when I was in Thailand one time, so like massages are so cheap, like
Yeah.
about $10. So I was doing massages every single
Yeah.
day. And then we went into this place, and it was like, often I'll go outside, but this was an inside one. And basically it's like table with like a draw curtain in between. So it was me and my kids, and I think Greg was there too. And got this woman, and she's like, "Hey, turn over," and she started massaging my boobs,
Oh, like your chest, the pec
Like-
muscles?
like
the actual boobs?
the boobs. She started like, and I'm thinking this, and like,
I don't even think that would feel good.
No,
I
it
have
didn't.
fake boobs.
no,
But even-
it didn't, because
Like if you're doing the muscles, I could see.
no, this was like rubbing your boobs, and I'm thinking, well, this is weird, and you know, like when you're in Thailand,
Yeah,
you know,
anything goes. But it's
anything
like,
goes.
for what reason would she be doing? Like, is that
I don't
somebody who has no
know.
training and she just is like, I don't know, this is part of your body.
Well,
I
so
guess.
you know, like okay, so in Thailand they really
Yeah.
do have a happy ending. Like I
Yeah.
think like, so I'm thinking, is she waiting for me to pay her more money to
Yeah, like when you
I-
do the happy endings, I'm assuming that it's like agreed to ahead of time. It's not like
Yes,
in the middle. You're
yeah.
like,
Well, I think maybe you could, but
I
but I
guess,
often,
yeah.
but I do think you're right. I think that, so when you're walking down the street in Thailand, they will say to you, Thai massage, Thai
Mhm.
massage, and some people will say, Thai massage, happy ending, you
mm.
know, and like
Would you consider that cheating if Greg got a happy ending massage?
No.
I wouldn't either. Like, I don't know if I would love it if it happened, but if I didn't know about it and like I found out like a year later,
I
I'd be
don't
like,
know. I kind of think I'd want to watch. Like,
you'd
I'd
want
be
to
like,
watch
I
and get a
think-
happy ending?
Wouldn't that be something?
I'd be bored. I'd be like, what am I doing? What is the point of me being here? What am I getting out of this?
You're right. You're right. But I mean, he's never had a happy ending
Yeah.
massage, and I know that because he could easily tell me
Yeah.
that he could, and I'd be like, "Oh, what was that like?" Like,
Yeah.
Like, how does one even go about asking for
Because
that?
you can definitely get them in Canada, I'm sure. It's not like you have to go to Thailand.
I'm sure you can get them here, and I know my sister, like I said, who is a massage therapist but is not currently working as one, occasionally would be asked that question, but it'd be ridiculous because she works in like a clinic. Like she works in a clinic with like a chiropractor who happens to be her husband. And other, you know what I mean? So it's like a very clinical, very doctor type setting. So you don't ask somebody for a happy ending. If you want a happy ending, you need to go
to a place,
to a back alley downtown place where there's like there's no sign on the door. You just need to knock 3 times.
Yeah, you have to have an in or know where to go. I was thinking also, like, this isn't that interesting of a conversation, but to be a massage therapist, is that why your sister stopped? Like, it's so hard on your body.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Is that why she's not doing it right now?
Well, she doesn't need the money.
Okay.
But it is, like, she ended up with, like, and most people do problems with their hands, like carpal tunnel.
Like, you don't need to go to the gym if you're a massage therapist, because you're just, like, using, like, I can only imagine how sore you would be when you're done.
But you still need to go to the gym, because it's basically just your arms and your back, because you're standing all day, and your arms hurt.
Seems
like,
terrible.
It's not...
That's the kind of job I would do for, like, a month, and then I'd be like, oh, this was a bad career choice. Like, my body hurts. Like,
but for, like... You don't have to go to school for very long.
There's a lot you need to learn, though. I had a friend who was, like, in the middle of it, and the test, because you have to learn everything about the body parts and stuff and all the muscles. Like, you actually have to know what you're talking about.
I shouldn't say you don't have to go for too long, because I know that my daughter's friend was in a course, and I think it's a 2-year program.
Yeah.
Where you go and you go to school, and then you do some... massaging, you know what I mean, in the school.
Like, you need the 3,000 hours to become certified or whatever.
But it pays quite well, I think. Like, a lot of those massage therapists, especially if you're out on your own, like, a good massage you can pay $100 for, so that's not bad for going to school.
But if you're doing your...
For a year?
Let's say even if you only do 5 a day, like, that's a lot of hard work on your body. I don't, that's like wear and tear on your body, you know what I mean? You have to put a lot of effort into keeping yourself maintained.
You do. And I think there are other careers like that too, like hairdressers. Yeah. Every hairdresser I know ends up having issues with their arms and back and neck and...
So, speaking of hairdressers, I went and got my hair done. Look how...
It looks really good.
Tell me how beautiful I am.
You do. And I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but it has, like, some silvery color to it. It's really on trend, I think. The color's great.
Anybody who's, like, watching this on video and has watched her previous ones, I was just, like, plain old brown before. I
would consider you a blonde.
Yeah, it was, like, dirty blonde. I'd like to call myself a blonde, but, like, it was more brown, I think, by then. I don't know. But I hadn't done my hair in years. I hadn't had anything done to it. So they call it virgin hair. And I just kind of was like, I need to go get it done. And I had a friend who actually does hair. She keeps posting on Instagram all these photos. And I'm like, wow, those look so good. So I reached out to her. And I went in and we did this. It was like 4 hours, but just amazing. But it got me thinking about how much there goes into doing this and doing it right.
Yeah.
Just listening to her talk to her coworkers, they're scientists balancing out the toner to the bleach and all the different levels and this number and this number. They're literally holding my hair and looking at each strand and looking at each color and, oh, if I use this toner, it'll bring out this. And they had the assistant washing my hair and I was like asking her questions about it because she's an apprentice and she's learning at the moment. And she was explaining to me how the toner, because I'm like, what does a toner do anyways? And I'm just like listening to these people going, you guys are really good at your job. And it just made me start thinking about, you know, when you think of a hairdresser, you go, oh, it's a hairdresser, right?
Yeah.
You never think how smart they actually
but
are.
But not all of them are that smart.
Well, that's the thing.
You know?
And I think it's so interesting and such an attractive quality in a person when somebody is so smart and so competent at their job.
I think what it is a passion.
Yeah.
So when somebody has a passion for their job and they love it, no matter what that job is, and they just want to know everything about it and they want to become better and better and better. Like my daughter, for instance, has super curly hair and she goes to see a hairdresser who knows how to cut curly hair. Like you cut it at the end of the curl, not in the middle of the curl. And like things that you would never think of.
Right? As she's brushing on the foil, she's talking about how she has to go in zigzag motions. I'm like, what? And you have to do some down and some up. And I'm like, why? And she explains to me why. And I'm going, I really love that you're so good at this.
Yeah.
And like, what are some jobs that you like? Okay, so I have an example. Karsten's aunt.
Yeah.
She's just like his aunt who lives in Ontario. She's like the
Just
one.
a plain old aunt.
She's just the plain old aunt. Like everybody's like, oh, crazy Elsa, you know?
Oh yeah.
And I didn't really know much about her. I didn't really think much about like, her intelligence, anything. I just like, whatever. Elsa is Elsa. She works at an amethyst mine, like those gemstones.
Oh.
So I go there one day and I'm like, I don't give a shit about amethyst. Literally, they mean nothing to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're going to a rock mine. Like, why are we here? I don't care. She gives us this tour and she knows so much about these damn gemstones. I was so impressed by her. I'm like, you are so smart. And it's just such a quality. Like when people are good at something, I don't care what it is, whether it's amethyst or like mixing toner.
It's not just being good at it. Like I said, it's like a passion.
Yeah.
When you have a passion for it, then good for you.
It's such a good quality to have. And I'm like, what am I passionate about?
Podcasting.
And then you see people who are just like average at things and you're like, okay, whatever. Like
I know, but okay, so for instance, like wouldn't it be great to be passionate about wine like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like to be a sommelier is like an amazing amount of school, but like holy shit, if you can taste the smoke
notes,
flavor and the notes and tell me what region in Italy it came from, like holy shit, like that's somebody who loves something.
Yeah. It's I keep saying this, but it's such an attractive quality in a human to just be passionate and smart about something.
Or
Cooking?
Cooking.
Yeah, totally.
Cooking is another thing that people would be going, oh, or you're a mom or whatever. But, like there's some moms out there whose passion is cooking, and man, like they just know that this spice and this spice and this spice together makes this amazing thing. Like, you see those old Italian grandmas and they're like, mwah, and I'm just like, to have that kind of passion, no matter what it is for.
It's so true, because I can whip together a meal. Like I can
mac and cheese with a bit of parm on it.
I can, put a box hair dye in my hair, we can all do these things, but the people that are actually really good at it, I'm so impressed by her. I even messaged her again this morning. I'm just like, I'm blown away. I can't stop thinking about it. Like I just think, and like this is all you guys are probably like, get over it. It's a hairstylist, but maybe it's because I just don't really get my hair done that often. I'm just like, you're literally a scientist.
Yeah, I have had my hair done by scientists too, and it usually costs me a fucking fortune. But I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
My ex-husband, he was passionate about the weirdest things. His passion was water. So, so I know
Tell me more.
That sounds strange. But he became a water operator for like a small town, and so you have to sample the water. And so then he became he wanted to know like what was all the ingredients in the water, like how many minerals,
like
how much
quality of the water.
Quality of the water, and then he'd find out like when you add chlorine to the water, like what chemicals are in it, and like what it does to you, and how much of it would cause cancer. Like he just like it blew up in his mind until he knew. Like he would just talk about water and you'd be like, who the fuck cares?
But there's probably people that do.
Yeah, he's so passionate about it.
I just have this thought about myself. I have little bits of knowledge in lots of different things, but there's nothing
major that you need to go, I need to know everything.
I need to figure out my passion, because even, cooking, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Podcasting, video editing, I can do it good enough, but do I know how to do something really, really well, or do I know every in and out?
Well, what often ends up happening, I think, is it becomes, it's your career, right?
Yeah.
And if you love your career, I mean, we have a career that's in accounting, and so it's just like, well, it's not our passion.
No.
Right? And so because you're spending 8 hours a day doing something, if it was looking at gems or water or hairdressing, it would be easy to become really good at it.
That's a good point. The time, there's only so much time. But sometimes I think I use that as an excuse, because I say often I'm spread too thin, my full-time job, all this podcasting, the kids, all this stuff.
Well, you are.
Totally, but somehow I still have time to, I was going to say watch TV, but I really don't have that. I don't watch that much TV anymore.
Like your downtime, I'm thinking I do have like 2 or 3 hours of downtime a day, but during that downtime, You're tired. You've worked. You don't want to use your brain understanding water molecules.
Learning something new, yeah. And usually on my downtime, if I am watching TV, I'm also folding laundry, or I'm also food prepping, or I'm also doing something else. Walking on the treadmill because I can't get this fat. I need to figure something out.
You're like fattest person I've ever seen. Holy shit.
I saw a meme. It was something like, we're supposed to work 8 hours a day, exercise, text back our friends, get 8 hours of sleep a night, meditate. Like, how is there to be a good mom? Like, there's no time.
So what parts do we think you need to cut out? First of all, don't be a good mom. Let's end that.
Yeah, no.
It would be great to stop working if we just didn't have to work.
How do you still get paid and not work? If anybody knows, let us know.
Passive income. You know, like if you can get rich enough that you own 10 houses and yeah. But since neither of us are in that boat, I guess we'll just have to continue making our money podcasting because that pays so well.
Oh yeah, you know, bring it. All these sponsors we have, they're really paying for we got a new plant. We teased up.
And we got a new painting. We have a new stylist. My sister is my stylist, so thank you, Melissa, for the painting. She painted the painting and beautiful. She styled the room.
I love it. I think this looks good. I want you guys to comment and let us know what you think.
Do you appreciate the colors in the background, or do you prefer a blank?
Yeah. Do you remember the basement? Like, don't even. This is good. If you say this is bad, my heart is broken.
Don't break Amanda's heart and make her happy and let us know what you really think. So let's do a wine and what the fuck.
I think that's a great idea. Right. Let's do it. All right, now it's time for everybody's favorite segment, wine and what the fuck.
And today's wine,
what do we got?
We have this bottle called Small Mercy, an easygoing red, and I picked it because it was the cheapest bottle I could find.
How much was it?
It was like $6.
Was it on sale $6?
Yeah, it was on sale $6. Like maybe it was $11 regular price or something, and I went, oh my god, this is great.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a $6 bottle.
What could go wrong with a $6 bottle?
What could go? We think it's gonna pop like our last one?
No, because I already opened it and it didn't pop. That was really funny. But let's give this one a go and let's see what we think about it. Because neither me or Amanda have tried this before.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Huh?
It's an easygoing red.
I like it.
Yeah.
Like holy shit, for $6. Fully recommend this $6 bottle of wine. So if you know.
It does taste a little like light and fruity. If you're wanting something full bodied like a heavy wine, I wouldn't pick this. But this is good for it's afternoon. Like,
but
this is
do you know, like sometimes you taste wine and it's like, oh, that tastes fucking cheap. You know what I mean? It has that icky, burny almost taste.
My ex-boyfriend used to make wine and it was like it tasted like I was getting poisoned. But we still drank it because we were.
So on the scale of feel like getting poisoned to like holy fuck, this is amazing,
I would say this is like a 4.
This is a solid 4.
But I do think this is a good afternoon wine. Like it's because when you're drinking in the afternoon, you don't want like a heavy, rich. I want like something more light, full body. This would almost make a good sangria wine. If you were to add some fruit and like sangria stuff, wouldn't that be a good?
This is a good day drinking wine.
Day drinking wine. Day drinking is my favorite time to drink. Did you know that about me?
No, tell me why.
Oh my gosh. Something about like a beautiful sunny day, sitting outside, just like, and then you have like that, I don't know, third drink where you just get that buzz on and you're just like, the sun is shining, you're with your friends.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking in this picture?
It depends on the day.
I'm thinking mojito.
Oh, mojitos. But it could be just a beer. Like a beer is fine, I'm fine with. Like I'm not going to be drinking wine because I'm probably outside and like wine is more.
Yeah.
Just, it could be really, like usually a beer maybe. Let's just go with beer. Just like you get that buzz and like if you're like outside like camping or something, you start playing Frisbee. I don't know. I just love it. And you just have it. Or even like on a patio and the sun is shining.
Oh my God. Do you remember patios?
Oh my gosh.
Holy shit.
At least it's getting nicer and we can slowly start going outside.
I know we kept saying, okay, this time we're going to just do the what the fuck.
Oh yeah.
But I have to say that, Amanda came over today and she's wearing her winter boots. And yesterday was 11 degrees here and super warm, and was wearing my runners, and Amanda's wearing boots because it's slushy.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, oh, what's all gonna melt? And I'm like, Amanda, it's not gonna all melt. This is fake spring.
And
here.
and I'm okay with that, but I think that we are on the upswing. It's March.
You're stupid.
No, but if you think about it, like
Yeah?
this time last year, we're almost at a full year of COVID. I have vivid memories of like our first couple weeks of being at home after like COVID started.
Do you?
And we got snow for sure, I remember. But it melts pretty quick. And then all of a sudden it's April and then you're good. Like we're in the like
you think you're in the home stretch, but you know that there's gonna be snow all the way up to May long.
that's okay. A little bit of snow is fine, but as long as it's not freezing and you can go outside and like see the sunshine and feel the heat on your face and not be like running from your car and jumping over huge piles of snow. Like
So
it's,
you're feeling we're out of the minus 30 zone.
yes, I feel like it.
I feel like we're gonna hit a couple more minus 20s.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
I hope not.
I hope not too, but this is the thing. Like we have this thing, like, oh my God, it's spring, and then they have you not learned your lesson.
But why are
How
you
long
being
have you been
so
Canadian?
Why are you being so negative about this? Why like we need something
I
to
am
look
a-
forward to,
I'm
Monica.
a realist.
No, we need something to look forward to. We need
I
to
look
think
forward
positive.
To you. I look forward to you.
I'm not driving all the way here if it's cold, so you better wish for some nice weather.
Oh, that's gonna work. That's gonna work. Okay, let's do wine. What the
Okay,
fuck?
what do you got?
First, hang on a second. I need a drink before I do this.
Monica's the what the fuck seeker because she has nothing but time to just scroll the internet searching for.
That's all I do. I have no life at all other than trying to make Amanda happy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What do you got?
Should I tell a girl I know that her boyfriend has a Grindr profile?
Ooh, how did you find out about that? Why? Like, is she on Grindr? Why would she know?
Oh, so this is a male.
Oh,
This
okay.
is a dude.
Okay.
This is a gay man who's his friend, his
Oh,
girlfriend,
no.
his pal.
Yeah.
He's looking on Grindr.
Found her boyfriend.
Yeah. Okay. So he says I was on Grindr and I saw the profile of my friend's fiance.
Oh, fiance.
They have 2 kids together, live together, all of that. So I'm so close to messaging her with a profile being like, hey, do you know he's doing this? But I just really wanted to make sure it was the right thing to do and that it wouldn't make me a shitty homewrecker.
Mm-hmm.
My head is going with, if that's my man, I'd want to know, but I feel conflicted as fuck. They could be in an open relationship and it's none of my business, but his profile doesn't mention a relationship or anything. Do I tell her? Do I get involved?
That's tricky. I would say it depends how close you are with her. If like you have to send her a message, i.e. she's just a Facebook friend, like you don't have her actual phone number. I don't know if that's the case, but if that is the case, I'd say maybe stay out of it. Cause like,
But what about if it was
a close friend,
Yeah.
like somebody that you know, that makes it more that you should, but maybe reach out to the guy. I don't know. That's tough. I feel like I would want to know, but I also know that getting involved in somebody's relationship is such a
yeah,
pain in the ass for everybody involved. Like,
it's a mind trap, but to me, like somebody puts themselves out on an app, there's really a good chance they're gonna get caught.
yeah.
So
Well, maybe he's thinking because it's Grindr, but yeah, like somebody's gonna see that.
But I would go to that whole, well, maybe she knows, maybe it's okay.
But what if she doesn't? And like, but is that how you want to find out? Is because somebody messaged you, or even if it's your friend? I don't know.
So this goes to the conversation of if your partner was cheating on you and your girlfriends knew, would you want them to tell you? Would you be angry?
Yeah.
Would you be angry if they didn't tell you?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want everybody to know something about me that I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, that would suck so bad. Everybody's talking about it, and you're just like, boopity,
And
living
you're
your
just like,
life.
he's the best guy.
And then you're telling a story, and then Karsten like bought me flowers, and all your friends are going, he also bought Brenda flowers or whatever, right? Like
That neighbor we were talking
Yeah,
about, the whole
the
pass neighbor.
Shit.
Never should have given him that all pass.
yeah, I definitely.
What would you do?
It's
What would
hard
you
though.
do
I really
when you're on Grindr and you see
when I'm on Grindr and I see my friend's fiance too, like
yeah,
it's
and
just
they have children, so
I think it makes it so much different when it's because it's not even he's just on a different dating profile trying to get other chicks. Like this is actually his identity. You
Yeah.
know, like maybe he hasn't come out to anybody. Like this is maybe him just experimenting and trying to figure out if he even is gay. Like we don't know any of these stories and what the reason, like this could be him just being like, I don't think I'm gay, but I kind of like to get my dick sucked sometimes. You know what I mean? And like just it won't hurt
like,
her.
I think that if a guy just wants to get his dick sucked, sometimes that he's bi. Like
I agree, but
Yeah.
like it's hard for somebody to admit that about themselves, right? A lot of the time people like won't. They're like, no, not me or whatever.
You
right?
know what? It is still sociably unacceptable no matter what you say.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, if Karsten was bisexual,
Yeah.
he would not tell his friends. He would not. Men are not
No.
allowed to say that. It's okay for women
Yeah.
to say I'm bi. Like, I really believe that if you have like if you are bisexual as a male, I think a young man is easier. So
Yeah.
I think that now these
Yeah.
guys that are like 16, 17, 18, even 20,
Yeah.
like a lot of like Amanda's friends and
Mhm.
stuff would say, oh yeah, for sure, I'm bisexual. I've had sex with both.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely men my age and probably your age too. It's unmanly to have
Yeah.
those feelings. I don't think it's unmanly,
Yeah.
but I think that
There's still stigma.
there's so much stigma around it.
Yeah.
So like I instantly feel both like, is this guy betraying his partner?
Yeah.
And I also feel a little sad for him and like that you can't embrace your identity.
There's and the fact that they have 2 kids and everything too. He's probably super conflicted, and that's kind of why I'm just like, oh man, like if you do get involved, like now you're involved. But she does deserve to know, and I hope like maybe if you have his contact, you just reach out to him and say, hey.
What?
I'm thinking about maybe I'm kind of conflicted. Like I'm not saying I'm gonna tell her, but I'm it's kind of weighing on my mind, and I don't want to like put you in a tricky situation. I don't know if you happen to know the boyfriend or the fiance. It's a very tricky situation. I had recently somebody reach out to me because I happen to know the girl and the guy. I'm not very close with either of them.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they were dating though, just because of social media and like friends of friends. The girl reached out to me and said, hey, do you have time to talk? Like, cause she'd reached out to me for advice on stuff before. Do you want, I broke up with him and I kind of want to talk to you about it. And I had to think, cause my first instinct is, sure, yeah, call me. And then I'm like, I don't think I want to. Like, I don't think it's smart for me to get involved.
Yeah.
So I actually reached out to him, and I don't talk to him very often either. And I said, okay, this is what happened. She reached out to me. She wants to talk. I don't.
Why did she want to talk to you?
I think she just needs
Just needs an ear?
she needs to rehash what's going on.
Yeah.
So then I just said to him, I don't want to know the details of your breakup. If I do end up talking to her, I'm probably just gonna say, you guys just leave it alone. Essentially, stop because I'm like, neither of you want to get back together. What is the point of even talking about this? So, and he goes, yeah, no, I appreciate it, thanks. And he kind of filled me in on a little bit of it or whatever. The old me, like a few years ago, because I'm like, I
want to know everything.
Well, yeah, and then he said this and she said this. I'd always be involved somehow in people's stuff. And the more I think about it, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be involved. Like, I don't know the details. I don't want to get opinions because once you hear one side, then you're involved and then you know all the stories. And then,
you know, like, I think that if I'd found out that, you know, my best friend, her husband was cheating and she didn't know, I think that I would feel in my heart of hearts that I'd either have to tell him that he's going to tell her,
yeah,
or I would have to tell her what I think that. I think I would have to.
Well, you can't go on with your life knowing something like that and not sharing it. If you're good friends with that person, I think that makes a big difference about how close you are to that person. Because imagine, like, I know Greg's cheating on you, but I still come over here every day and pretend I don't. Like, come on.
Is it with you?
Well, of course. He's not gonna cheat with somebody else. But that's the thing, though, right? Like, then you'd be mad at me. It's like you've known for this long and you couldn't even tell me.
I would be mad at you. Definitely.
Totally. It's like the friend, even if Karsten finds out something, I remember a long time ago, our friends found out they were pregnant and they told Karsten a few days before me because she wanted to tell me separately. And he knew for like, let's say 3 days before.
And you were
And
mad at
I
him?
was pissed at him. I'm like, what else have you lied to me about? I think looking back now, I don't think I would be mad in that situation, but it's the
Yeah.
same idea. It's like, there's certain people you have a relationship with that you need to tell things to, and especially if it involves them.
Okay, what about if the situation goes where you hear that you're best friends with somebody, a couple, and you find out that he's drunk and he drunk kissed somebody at the bar or whatever, and you know this is a one-off.
Oh, that's different. A drunk kiss? I don't know.
Like, I would not.
No.
If I saw Carson drunk kissing somebody and I knew, and I'd be like, oh, like, dude, that was bad. I'd probably tell him. I'd
But
be like,
if you spent enough time with us and you knew it was a one-off, but if it was, that's the thing, is like, it depends, because if you saw it, it'd be like, does he do this every time he goes out?
yeah.
That'd be different. But if you knew us really well and we spent all the time together, you could tell he was fall down drunk and it was just like a stupid mistake and you happen to catch it. That's different. And you know him well enough to know it was a one-time
I
thing.
probably wouldn't tell you.
And I think that's actually okay.
Yeah.
But there's so many different levels to it, just like everything,
my
right? So it's
God.
just, if it's a really good friend and you're like, okay, well, I know this thing about him and I know he's probably going to do it again, and I know he's on this website, and I know he's...
So back to the Grindr website.
Yeah.
I probably would tell my friend.
I think you need to tell your friend.
So, okay, so spoiler alert, like
Oh.
this was on Reddit, and,
Okay.
and he did an edit,
Oh,
and he said he did end up telling his friend,
Okay.
and he said he just sent her the profile picture and said, just wanted you to know, be
Mhm.
aware, and she didn't respond, and then a couple days later she said, yeah, he's exploring his bisexuality, and I'm aware.
oh,
So-
interesting.
Yeah, so it all turned out to be whether he would have said something or not. It would have been fine.
But do you think, and this could be true too, is that because it took her a couple days to respond,
Well, she might have been embarrassed.
or
right?
or she saw it, was like, what the fuck is this? They had the conversation, he told, and to save face, she said, I knew about it already.
That's totally possible.
Because if it takes you a couple days to respond too, because if she read it and she had that, oh no, it's fine. Most people, you would kind of respond right away.
You might, or you might be like, it's none of your goddamn business.
That's
or
true.
You know?
They probably weren't that close of friends then, I would say. Like, it was probably just one of those peripheral people that you know on
See, I think that
Facebook.
I'd be like, oh my god, please don't tell anybody else. Like, let's
Yeah.
keep this between us. Don't put it on Reddit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Human relationships are so complicated.
They really are, and it's
Mhm.
like that friend I was saying, like, I ended up talking to her on the phone, and I just said, okay, why do you feel like you need to go over this with me? Like, for what reason? She goes, I just need closure. And I said, but you broke up a month ago. You guys aren't, do you want to get back together with him? Well, no. And I said, well, then what do you need closure for? You have closure. I'm like, you're spending so much time and energy.
Sounds to me like she just wanted you to tell her she was right.
She just wanted she wanted to complain about him to somebody who knew him, I think. And I wasn't having it. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know him anymore. I haven't seen him in years. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
You did the right thing. Good for you. That's a grown-up thing.
I know, I'm
man.
actually impressed with myself, because normally I'd be like, oh, and then what happened? But
Yeah.
I was like, I don't see I'm like, you know how much energy you've spent thinking about this in the past month? Because I know she's reached out to other people too.
Really immature.
It is.
Mhm.
So I'm like, you're using all this energy to think about this when you could be using that energy for something else. I'm like, how are you, like, oh, I understand. Like, she ended up kind of understanding by the end of it. Who knows if she's going to take the advice, but I'm like,
No.
when something just consumes your mind. I've been there. I was young too. And it's like all you
How,
can
is
think
she
of.
a lot younger than you?
Not a lot younger. Like, I think maybe 4 or 5
Yeah,
years
that's
younger.
enough.
Yeah.
That's enough.
But yeah, she, I don't know. I'm like, so we're done. We're done talking about it. You should be done talking about it. I'm like, it's getting nicer outside. Go find some friends and walk and talk and laugh and giggle and be happy and stop thinking about this guy. You guys are, like, it doesn't matter. She's
Yeah.
saying all the negative
it's
things.
Hard, it's hard to say that though, and because sometimes, like, I know me and Greg broke up. I would probably need to talk about it for a long time, but how long? Like, at what point do you go?
But it also depends on the level of relationship. They had been together 3 months, and
Ow!
and a month and a half of it was good, and then the rest was like kind of not good. So that's what I said. I'm like, it was a month and a half, or it was 3 months of your life Chalk it up to a
on.
learning experience.
That's
like,
what dating's about. You're like, okay, this isn't working. Like let's
why
move
are you
on.
I'm like, why are you still thinking about this?
Okay.
Well, because he said he loves me. I said, I could tell the
Oh
mailman
my
I love
God.
him. I'm like, just because I say it doesn't mean anything.
Hey, here's another topic of conversation, and I hear it in every fucking love song. It's like, he promised me love me forever, and now he's with that other bitch. That's okay. That is such a theme, and I'm thinking, we all do that when you're with somebody and you have those emotions and
Endorphins.
and you're horny and you're like, oh my God, I love you so much. I will love you forever.
I can't imagine not. And then as
it's
soon as you
not-
come, you're like, oh, never mind. That was just the.
Yeah, that was sorry about that. Right?
I just needed to come in you.
Okay, but it's a thing. So when women say, well, you told me that you loved me, I'm just like, well, we all do that. And
My other advice to her is, I'm like, have you been going to therapy? And she said she has. I said, what have you been...
3 months?
Well, but she had therapy issues, like not
Okay.
issues, but she was going to therapy for other things before. And I said, you need to work on your self-love, girl. Like, stop putting your value on some
A
dude
man.
loving you. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if he loves you. Love yourself. And I know
Yeah.
that's so cheesy, and like, I should make a meme about
And
it.
a song.
Like, a song.
Is
I
there a
love,
song?
love yourself, probably. But it's just like, I think because I just love myself so much, I can't imagine. I'm like, what? Like, who cares if he says he loves you?
Exactly.
His actions did not show that
Yeah.
at all. And it didn't work out. It's over. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? Like, stop thinking about it. But the moral of the story is not their issues. It's more like the getting involved in other people's shit.
Yeah.
I was like, my 10-minute drive, I was on my way to my massage, actually. This is all full circle. As soon as I got there, I said, okay, well, like, the conversation's done. Like, good luck. Please just go find some friends and giggle.
She just found another friend to tell to
Probably.
talk to, so my guess.
Yeah.
But maybe she heard you. I would love to know
Isn't
what
that
she
the
did.
best medicine? Just freaking giggling with your friends.
Yeah.
God, I love laughing. It's so
Yeah.
good. Like, people who don't just, like, giggle all the time, I feel sorry for you.
It has a lot to do with being drunk too. Me and my girlfriends used to get together and we'd have these girls' nights when our kids were little. So we'd all pile into one house and all the kids would all be sleeping in the basement.
Yeah.
And we would get so drunk.
Yeah.
Like, your babies are running around, but there's
Yeah.
nothing to, no one, well, they could get hurt, I guess, and we were all too drunk to know. But all you would do is laugh and talk about sex.
You gotta
and
be with the right friends, too, who are
You
just in the
do.
mood to laugh. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. I love where your stomach hurts and your face hurts from
Yeah,
laughing.
It's
I
the
just love
best.
It.
It's
Love
the
it.
best. That's our advice to you today. Just
giggle.
Have a good laugh.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. That's all for today.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to the It's Really None of Our Business podcast.
You can find us on Facebook and
Instagram?
YouTube, and all the other places. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to It's Really None of Our Business podcast with Monica and Amanda. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You know all the places. If you've enjoyed this podcast, tell your friends, and please rate and review us where you can. If you are brave enough to reach out and ask us for advice, we will definitely read it out on our show. We'll totally keep your name anonymous, so what do you got to lose? You can reach us by email at ask.noneofourbusiness@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing from you guys soon. Ciao.